My color palette. This color is cerulean, Indian yellow, and this is my master color. That is these two colors mixed together. Then I've added white to those colors. I've added light gray to those colors. I've added darker gray and then a black. So those are my harmonious colors, but if I continue to use this as my master color, and just add whites and grays and other colors to it, everything will be harmonious. And like I said, I made up this palette on Tuesday. Today's Saturday, so what's that, 4 days ago. Still wet. I just put a lot of saran wrap on top of it and it stays fresh for me. Okay, this is an acrylic that I started last week. And the size is 24 by 48. And I want to finish it today. I like what's happening. It's been texturized with super heavy gesso. And I'm using harmonious paints with a master color. My different colors that I used was, of course, black and white. I made some grays. And I also have Indian yellow and a cerulean blue. I mixed the cerulean blue and the Indian yellow together and got a master color. And then I did many variations of that color, plus my black and white and grays. I have a light gray and a darker gray. So that's my palette. And I'm actually liking it the way it is, but it's not done. So I'm going to work on it some more today. I want to try to finish it. And I'm going to be using my brayers, mostly. And I want to do a little bit of mark making on it first. And I'm using a Marabou art crayon. And they're nice because you just turn them and it comes up like a lipstick. And it's creamy like a lipstick. It's very creamy when you put it on. It's very, very similar to an oil stick, but it's not oil. It's for acrylic. And it will dry completely within 24 hours. My hair is a mess. I haven't had a haircut in so long, I don't even know when. It will dry within 24 hours, but you don't have to wait for it to dry. I usually paint right over top of it. So I want to do a little bit of line work today with it. That's in black. It comes in a lot of different colors. I want to do some white line work also. And since I have yellow on my palette, I'm going to use a yellow one as well. I just ordered these from Amazon because I'm still working out of my home studio and I didn't have my art crayons in my home studio there at the Millworks in my studio, where I normally paint, but I haven't painted in this for a while. So here's a white one, same thing, but it's in white. Where it's mixing with the black one that I just did, it's turning gray, which is wonderful. Turn it up a little bit. I'm going to use the yellow one. And I also have a blue one and I have a red one here. And as you can see, I'm not afraid to mess up my paintings. You have to lose that fear. you don't lose the fear of messing it up, you're never going to get better if you stay in that comfort zone. Okay, I think that's about all of that I'm going to do for now. Now I'm going to go into it with a brayer. This is my cerulean blue with some white in it. You can see how those lines are showing through it, which I like. Do not be afraid of messing up your painting. This is a 12-inch, which is better. Love how those lines came through. Now that's a fairly large shape. I think I'm going to do another fairly large shape and put it up here. And we'll paint. I have two fairly large shapes, and I actually have them connected because your eye is going to jump from here to here to here. And I'm going to put a smaller one down below. For me, painting is all about shapes. Shapes are so important. I cannot stress that enough. That's a small shape right there. Let's have another one right here. I do want to mention that, as you can see, a lot of times I see artists, when I say to put on shape, they'll just put a big round shape down. You can see none of my shapes are round. There's some hard edges, some soft edges, and I've made the shapes interesting. So that is so important. Now I'm going to go into it with some other colors. This is my master color that I showed you in the beginning, but it has some dark gray into it. Let's do a larger one, or maybe a medium one, I don't know. I'm just, right at this point in time, this is a larger shape, but the shape itself is more elongated than it is anything, and I always take it over what's already down there. In other words, I don't have green, blue, blue, green. I have them, I'm going to integrate them where I'm going to overlay one color slightly over top of another. Now this is a fairly long green shape. It's long and then it comes out this way. So it's a larger shape, but it's not massive like the blue shape is. Make your shapes interesting. Put a little bit down into here, just to integrate that a little bit. See, now I took my green over this. There wasn't as much paint on my brayer, so I took my green over top of it, but since there wasn't as much paint on it, it didn't get rid of it. You can still see that as still read it as a blue shape. Can you see how I'm using my brayer? Okay, now I've used two colors. I'm going to go into it with a slightly lighter color of that exact same shade, except it has, instead of mixing it with the dark gray, it's my master color, and instead of mixing it with the dark gray, I'm mixing it with the lighter gray. So it's going to be a lighter value of the exact same color. Now this is the exact same shade, except it's just a hair lighter, as you can see. What it does, it just makes those colors more interesting because the value has changed. I think I'm going to bring this one out here just a little bit. Can you see how that anchors this side? I think I'm going to anchor this side exactly the same way. And it just has more, I just have more paint on my brayer, that's all. I like that, I like it a lot. Now this is exactly that same shade, my master color. But it has white in it, not light gray, not dark gray, but white. It's exactly the same shade as this, but there's more white in it. It looks a lot different. You can see with all of the colors that I'm putting down, I still have my main big shapes and my smaller shapes. I'm not covering them up. When I looked at that in the screen, it just looked like it was too much of a square. So I'm liking what's happening here. I have to do something with this area right here because it's very bright. I think I'm using my Indian yellow with dark gray in it. So it's going to be more of a olive green. Don't know if I like that. We'll find out. Now see, those are what? This is kind of a medium-sized shape. You can see I didn't come straight across. I came down and then back up again for variety's sake. I'm going to use that color. I need it elsewhere. So I'm looking at it and saying, where down at the bottom can I use that? Thinking right in here a little bit. I'm looking for balance. You have to learn to look at your paintings. Learn to look. Learn to look. You need to look so you know what's happening to your painting. So you can see what's working and what isn't. You want to look for variation of sizes, shapes, colors, and values. So, and I have that right now. Your variation of sizes is a biggie for me. And a variation of colors. So just by adding the lighter gray and the darker gray, or just white or just black, you're going to get a variation of different values of that exact same color. And then also, you want to, when you look at your painting, you want it to be either warm or cool, not warm and cool. You don't want it to be 50-50. 50-50 offers you absolutely no interest whatsoever. You want it to be like 70% cool, 30% warm, 70% warm, 30% cool, or 80-20. But once it gets to 60-40, you're getting close to that 50-50. So that's what you don't want. Now this adds warmth into this painting, but it's not quite balanced yet. I don't know if you can see that. I have it up here and I have it down here. It's not, there's a little bit of it peeking through right here, which I like. And maybe I'll introduce it with line. Let's try that. So I'm going to go into a brush. I'm going to pick up some of that color with a brush. See, I like that. That gave me some more, but I think I need another line over here, just for variety's sake. I added a little bit more line work down there, though. I like it. I need something more solid here. I don't like that yellow coming through there. So I said I need something just a little bit more solid in through here. To counterbalance these solid areas. Now I like that. Some things that you want to be careful of, make sure that these aren't at the same spot. These are, I might bring this one up a little bit further. And the lower ones are not at the same spot going across. Just a few of the things that you need to look out for. I'm going to bring this up a little bit higher. And I'm not going to connect this, but I'm going to put a little bit right there just for balance. I like that. I haven't used nearly all of my colors yet. That's nice. See, I just made some shapes with my brayer. There's 3, here's 4, here's 5. Bring it up just a little bit higher. See, now this line balances these lines. Now I'm looking at it and saying to myself, do I need some darker blues? I think I'm going to put a little bit more darker blue into it. I'm going to use that cerulean blue, which is part of my master color. I'm going to add some black to it. So now I have kind of a navy blue. And I'm going to put a hint of my master color in it, which has Indian yellow in it. Just so it's now harmonious with all of my other colors. I think I'm going to put it here, then I'm going to put some more color on top of it. I need to bring out some more of my darks. I'm missing some of my darks. I just didn't want to lose some of my really, really deep darks. go back over these spots with color. But as you're looking at it, you're saying, well, all of those are the same size. So that's what I saw when I looked at the screen. So I'm going to make this one bigger. But remember, I am going to go over them with other colors, so I can make them different size as I go over them. Maybe some pure black around that area. I'm gonna dry this with a dryer, the hair dryer. What I'm trying to do is just bring more black areas out because I'm big on contrast. If you haven't noticed, I'm really big on contrast. I'll put some dark green into it for some darkness. That's dark green, and what that is, it's not dark green, it's actually Indian yellow with black in it. Put a little bit of that over and through here, just for some variety. Ooh, yes. Just a little bit of green into it. And you see how I completely messed up my painting? Is it bothering me? Absolutely not. Because I know, just from experience of trying things, that I can get it back. Maybe not exactly the same, but I can make it better by doing this. Because what's going to happen is that my texture, my darkness in my texture is going to show more than what it was. So I'm going to dry this with a hair dryer now. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back over a lot of my colors. This is the color that I had down in this area, so I'm going to go over this slightly. You can see I'm slowly pushing it back, a little bit at a time. Don't go hog wild. And any sharp edges that I want to cover, such as those corners, I'll go over. I want to get some light back into it. I'm just barely touching it. Now this is too much of a square, as you can see that mark right there, so I have to change that somewhat. So why not just touch it here and there to get some light right there? You see, I like that because this is going to be a mostly cool painting. You see how I'm bringing your eye through with light. always think of a road map. You always want a map where you want your eye to go. Lead your viewer's eye. And you see how I'm coming down this way, over, down. Now I can exit this way, or I can come down through this way, or I can come down through this way. See how I push that back? I no longer can see the shape, but I have the darkness. Now this is my master color with only white in it. Now what I'm doing, just putting some shapes in with my brayer. I like that. It's different. It's more structured than the rest of it. It's a pretty color. That's my master color with more white in it. I even put a little bit more white in it. Make it a little bit lighter. Then I have to decide if I like that or not. I don't know if I do or not. And plus, they're all the same size, so I'm going to change one of them to be bigger. Now see, that's better. Now if I had that color there, do I need it elsewhere? Probably. Where would I put it? Maybe down in through here. Then I'm going to put that more yellow color on top of it, I think. This is Indian yellow. A hint of cerulean blue in it with darker gray. I'm looking at it and saying to myself, are there any areas that I don't like? This is just a blue chalk, sidewalk chalk. And I did get a line there. I wanted to see if I could get some lines in with it. I did get some line work. I go into it with a dark blue art crayon, and I have a dark blue in here. Don't know what it's going to look like. You know me. Let's see. This is just the same thing, except it's a dark blue one. I like that. It's just barely there. Well, that did make it interesting, didn't it? That's the master color with black in it. What do I want to do? I'm not sure. This would be one of the sweet spots right here. It gives the whole thing just a little bit more structure. Maybe if we put a lighter color on top of it. Let's try that. That's interesting. That's the same color with white in it. Maybe a little bit of Indian yellow. Make it a little bit warmer. Well, that's a nice color. Now this is my master color, which is Indian yellow and cerulean blue, with lots of white in it, and a touch more of Indian yellow. So what happens is it's a little warmer than the color that's down there now. Let's see what happens. Yep, that's what I needed. Warmer than what is on there now. And do I need it everywhere? I don't think so. This is what I talk about when I talk about shapes. You have to experiment with it. I am liking that because it adds structure. This needs something right in here. And then I say, does it? I might just let it be and take another look at it tomorrow. I think I need, I like this really light blue right here, and I'm thinking I need some light blue right in there. I don't want to go too light. I can always go lighter. But I'm thinking about putting some light blue right in here. See, that was too light blue. I'm going to add more blue to that. It's better. Is this too green right here, guys? I think it has to be more neutral there. I'm going to put in some gray there just to see what happens. Just lightly touch it with a little bit of gray. Just to change that up just a little bit there. I'm going to call this Finally Seeing the Light, because Dauphin County, the county that I live in, has gone to a yellow lockdown, which means no retail stores open yet, but you can have gatherings up to 10 people. Not much of a change, but restaurants are still closed. Love this area right here. And I usually wait until almost at the end to find my focal area, and I'm really happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a close-up. Is this dark enough right here? I think I need some dark right here. I'm going to put some in. Never done. put it in that way. Then I'll put some color over top of it. Okay, what color do we want on top of it? That gave me a little bit of depth over there. Just a hint. I'm going to give you a close-up and a photo. Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, and by the way, I'm having a cold wax online workshop in the month of June. There are 3 consecutive days. There's two classes. There's one that's going to be during the day and one that's going to start early evening. So there's 2 different sessions on 3 consecutive days. It's on my website, all the information if you're interested, and we're going to be doing cold wax and oil, beginner to intermediate. I'll be giving you lots of techniques and giving you a lot of personal attention. So if you're interested in that, go to my website, which is www.lindabentonmccloskey.com, and all of the information is there under online courses or online workshops. So if you're interested, let me know. Thanks for watching. Okay, I decided to change it up just a little bit. I'm using my long brush, standing away, and I'm going to just put a few marks in here. I just thought it needed something. And I like that better already. That's my master color with some gray into it. Okay, this is cerulean blue, light gray, and a touch of the master color. Don't want any control. That's why I'm using this brush. Now what I'm going to do is make that a little bit lighter. See what happens now. See, I like that. Because now it no longer looks like the last thing that I did. Okay, I like that better. Now I'm going to call it finished. Love it. Okay, I'll give you another close-up, guys. Thanks for watching. Okay. Here we have it. It looks just a little bit more complex now than what it did. This is the background now. I mean the bottom. I am happier with it. You can see a lot of my line work. I just did that line work. There you can see the art crayon right there. Over here you can see the chalk. There's the chalk mark there. So I do like it a lot. I thank you for watching.